Okay, our second award goes to the person providing the second ingredient necessary for successful cultural change. A lawyer, a teacher, an advocate who over the past 30 years has brought the tenacity and the focus of her storied Olympic triple gold medalist career as a swimmer to her life after sport. We are fortunate that Nancy Hogshead Makar transferred her competitive skills and determination to the advancement of fairness and social justice in Olympic and college sports. Remember that our colleges and universities are the year-round training grounds for most of our USA Olympic teams. Nancy's leadership in addressing sexual abuse in sport, which began long before the recent horrific revelations in gymnastics, was path-breaking, innovative, and collaborative. When few had the courage or support to speak out, she was a survivor who did. During the past 10 years, she has mobilized and garnered the support of sport leaders, the child protection community, civil rights organizations, youth sport organizations, athletes, coaches, to force Congress to act. These efforts led to the passage of the Protecting Young Victims from Sexual Abuse and Safe Sport Authorization Act of 2017. This federal law created a new legal standard of care for youth-serving sports organizations across the country, requiring that all adult members of the Olympic movement report sexual abuse to authorities within 24 hours. It expanded the statute of limitations for victims to file claims against their abusers and created an independent entity, the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, to conduct investigations and remove those found responsible for sexual abuse from the Olympic movement, thereby protecting over 16 million athletes. Building off that legislative success, Hogshead Makar is now working to advance another bill in the 116th Congress that would give athletes a greater role in Olympic governance, provide them with greater protection, establish greater external oversight of the USOPC, and create a commission on the state of US Olympics and Paralympics to examine the need for further necessary reforms. Moving Congress to act, especially during the past 4 years, would have been enough for most change agents, but not for Nancy, not for Hogshead Makar. From the bully pulpit of Champion Women, a nonprofit organization she founded to advocate for equality in athletics, she is taking on all 1,100 of the member institutions of the NCAA. Her recent research documented intentional sex discrimination in 90% of higher education athletic departments across the country. The Title IX project is ongoing, and she's making sure that each of these institutions gets their Hogshead Makar report card. Her Title IX work has spanned decades, including lawsuits, academic scholarship, preparation of amicus briefs, collegiate and legal teaching, expert witness testimony, and testifying in Congress. Nancy Hogshead Makar is truly an extraordinary champion for social justice in sport. We are grateful for her life's work, and I am so honored to present her with the 2020 Drake Hero Award and to ask her to make acceptance remarks. Nancy.
Oh, thank you, Donna Lupiano. I'm getting a little choked up here. Thank you very, very much for this award here. I can't not only thank the Drake Group and what their mission stands for, but also I really want to just thank you personally for being such a big mentor in my life. And I remember one time I gave a speech and it didn't go well. And I think I was like trying to convince people as to what was wrong with using sex to sell women's sports. Now we've got great research showing that sex sells sex, it doesn't sell women's sports. But at the time, we didn't have those numbers. We didn't have that feedback. And you said, Nancy, if it was easy, it would have already been done. And I remember like that, there was a moment for me to recognize that handling sex discrimination in sport in all the various ways is not something that you can wave a wand and you can point out, hey, look, this is what's happening, and have these changes be able to happen. I'm also moved by Ruth Bader Ginsburg's famous quote that says, she says, fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. So that's what we've been trying to do with both trying to get Title IX compliance and to be able to get changes to the Sports Act, the Ted Stevens Olympic and Amateur Sports Act. When we need to get changes to Title IX compliance, when we need to get schools to comply, rather than thinking of it as compliance, technical compliance, this is intentional sex discrimination that most athletic departments, in order to get to this huge split where they are, takes about 10,000 individual decisions. We've got to reverse those 10,000 individual decisions and make sure that men and women, girls and boys, have equal educational opportunities. I know that the most important thing that I took from my Olympic career was like who it made me, who I had to be in order to be an Olympic champion. I think that's what most athletes get out of sport, is that it challenges themselves. It has this almost universal ability to empower people. So we need to make sure that experience, number one, that women have them, and then number two is that they are meaningful experiences. I have the great privilege, because of our donors. One of the main donors are frankly my parents, Janet and Howard Hogshead, who have allowed me to hire Janine Kistner. Janine and I came up with, we have a database on title9schools.com that tells every single school whether or not they're in compliance or not. Right now, schools are denying women intentionally, are you ready? 183,000 sports opportunities for women just in higher ed, not even including high school. And this is using the big data that the schools actually provide. And every single year, women lose out in, are you ready? $1 billion in college scholarships. $1 billion because they are women. Most women who don't get a college scholarship or who don't get a position on the team, one of those $83,000 athletes, they think that they didn't get it because they weren't good enough, because they didn't make the team. They don't see themselves, as they should, as they are being intentionally discriminated against by those schools not providing those teams. One of the things I love about the Drake Group and their stand and their hard stand in the ground for academic integrity is just how that stand supports athletes' rights. Those two things are one and the same. As we stand up for not just academic integrity, but the integrity of intercollegiate athletics, we are making sure that athletes like Jazana, who, congratulations, that was a phenomenal acceptance speech, like her, that we recognize that they are not children, they are not infants. They do not need to be overly, they have agency in their own lives to be able to give them their own agency. Those of you who saw Athlete A, a documentary on Netflix, made it clear all the different ways that the Olympic movement can take away that agency from athletes, and how it is that they can force them into being obedient and compliant, not unlike what we're seeing in football players and basketball players, and how damaging that is all the good things that one gets out of sport, it just rips that away, and it really denies them. So we cannot protect athletes without giving them power. That's what this new statute is designed to do. I hope everybody out there will call their representatives for HR 7881 and to be supportive of this legislation. I would like to ask your representative to co-sign onto the legislation and then also to vote for its passage. It's already passed out of the it's already passed out of the Senate, you ready? Unanimously. So this is bipartisan. This is Senators Jerry Moran and Blumenthal. This is House Member Diana DeGette and Cory Gardner have worked together for the sake of the Olympic movement to make sure that our athletes are not just protected, but they're empowered, not just from the perspective of sort of having that personal, pride in themselves, but in the ability to make their own decisions about their athletic careers. It is right now, the NCAA and the conferences and schools would like you to think that there's a conflict between being fair to women and giving them these equal educational opportunities and giving the men what it is that they want. It's nonsense. They're holding up Title IX as the reason why they can't give men name, image, and likeness rights when they're not enforcing Title IX at all. Donna Lopiano was part of a group along with Judy Sweet and many others that worked to make sure that the NCAA was requiring schools to be in compliance with Title IX. And when Mark Emmert came on board, he took that away so that the NCAA is not part of making sure that women are being given equal educational opportunities. And so women and advocates like myself are coming together to let the NCAA know that we don't think, like, don't hold up Title IX, don't hold up gender equity as a reason why you can't be doing more for men or for men's teams. That is a false dichotomy right there. What Title IX says, or is basically no sex discrimination. Whatever you do for the school, for athletic teams, whatever you give to the men, you have to give to the women. So whatever the budget is what it is, and you can divvy it up fairly between men and women. So that's a lot of sort of back and forth. I would ask that everybody, the work that the Drake Group does and the work that my organization Champion Women does, we are the break against runaway commercialism. We are the ones who are standing on principle as to what sport is really all about. So I need your support. You can go to championwomen.org and give to us. You can go on to the Drake Group and give there. But if you care about the millions of kids that are playing sports, and you care about expending some of those resources to make sure that the experience that athletes have is a good one, is a safe one, and that athletes get their fair rights, then please be part of our organizations. Right now, signing on to Senate Bill 2330 and House Bill 7881, we have 525 Olympians, Paralympians, and elite athletes. We have 200 coaches. We have over 120 sport leaders, people like the members of the Drake Group, who have signed on. We have over 80 survivors of sexual abuse within the Olympic movement. We have hundreds of supporters. We ask that on behalf of those most impacted by the Olympic movement, that you would do whatever you could to make sure that this legislation gets passed. Thank you again for this award. You know, a great thing about about getting an award like this is that it enables you to be able to do more. As Donna said, as I started off my remarks, if it was easy, it would have already been done. Brown University back in 1993 got sued for Title IX violations, and it's deja vu all over again. Unless there are advocates willing to make sure that we don't backslide, it's going to keep happening. So I'd really like to thank you again for this award. These are some of the people who are involved in the Drake Group: Andy Zimbalist and David Ridpath, and many others are some of the people that I most admire in this world. And yeah, I look forward to displaying it proudly. Thank you very much.